I'm here with Kenny Wong, the director and co-founder of Wowspace, also interior concept designer, also a property investor, quite well known in the industry actually. So, welcome, Kenny. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi.
Maybe you can share with us a bit about what you guys do and then what's happening.
Okay, so what we do is by profession I'm actually an interior and brand designer, and then for the past 1 year we've been venturing into hotel business as well. So our company runs short stay businesses, interior design, and also hotel management for now. Yeah.
How has the MCO and all this the current situation affected your business, and what did you guys do to mitigate it in a way?
So let's start from the beginning of the MCO. When we were still allowed to actually take in guests domestically, it was still okay. It doesn't have too much of impact on us. But of course, when the government actually imposed the travel ban, even interstates or domestics, even between districts, that really hit us hard. And I can say literally our sales dropped to zero because we couldn't allow to take in any guests at all at that time. So, but whereas for our design part, for concept design, we can still go on as usual and stuff like that. But everything on site as well got to stop until only today we can only start to resume our work on site. So anything on site, most likely it's between these few days, but we can start lah. Okay. So before this, it's actually on hold and didn't have any progress at all. So during this time, we took a lot of time actually to relook at our own business, how to really shape it into a sexier business model, because all this while probably when we are so comfortable with what we have. So, but right now, post MCO or almost end of MCO, we need to really relook at what's necessary, what we need to really cut off, but still maintaining our core values. So during this MCO period, I really took a lot of time really thinking on what really matters and how to improve on it.
What are those examples of making your business sexier in terms of innovating?
Yeah. So I thank God, actually before even this COVID-19 hits, we have already looking into a smart system for a hotel. So what we're looking at is how can we minimize workforce, and then how can we mitigate actually initial objective that we want to achieve is to solve this kind of midnight check-in issues, whereby probably we have no one or even very less manpower on site to actually taking care of this guest. So what they do is we have actually invested into a smart system, something like self check-in kiosk. Okay, smart self check-in kiosk. So what they do is when they come in, you don't need to have any physical person there on site, and then you can just check in yourself, and then the room keys will be, you can collect your room keys from the kiosk itself and then enter into the room and without meeting anyone. So we thank God that we really have this already on site, actually about to run. And then COVID-19 hits, and then MCO happens. That really, gives us more time actually to look at what we can cut off. Probably because, as you know, hotel business, it's a lot to do with people, human, communication, stuff like human touch, personal touch. But a lot of this have to be put aside right now. For example, like you couldn't have communal space anymore. You couldn't like what we used to do. Probably when guest comes in, we serve welcome drinks and stuff like that. So there's a lot of physical contact per se. So right now, what we have looked into is how to keep this bespoke experience, but still maintaining the what you call is the personalized touch into it. So what smart system helped us is, for example, when they checked in, our system will detect, okay, there's someone checked in already, and then this system will turn on the aircon room by itself. So it gives the guests a feeling that, oh, when I enter the room, hey, actually someone turned on the aircon for me already, but actually it's the system that does itself. So a lot of these things, the guests will still feel, hey, I'm being taken care of, even though there's no one there. So this is what we are actually working towards to improving it actually.
Okay, it's good to share with the viewers that you have actually done a boutique hotel called Italia.
Yes, correct.
And then in the middle of this MCO, you are also in the middle of construction of the Italia 2.0.
Yes.
We were actually in discussion about Italia 2.0, and then all the things went to the quarantine lah. So what's the update on Italia 2.0 and how?
Okay, so Italia 2.0 actually right before MCO started, we actually done 95% of the work already. It's just left probably just the mattress and some of the decoration stuff to come in, and then we can start, which now since we can work already, then these things will start to come in. So Italia 2.0 will start very soon now, I would say. It didn't affect us much during the MCO because renovation is done 95% already.
How about your staff? How did you guys adapt to like working from home, and then I gave them certain instructions on how to get through the MCO and doing their job?
So actually, we do have meetings going on, but virtually. So at some point of time, meeting virtually actually gave us a lot of convenience lah, because we can, as long as everyone is up to it, and then we can just have the meeting. So in terms of brainstorming or getting things delivered is not much of a problem. And but for the staff, what would be a new normal to them, what they need to pick up now is actually a new SOP. Okay, so like for example, hotels, like I just mentioned, there's a lot of things that will change, and especially on the hygiene part, because for the guests, I think the utmost thing that they care about when they book the hotel right now is, hey, is this hotel is doing their cleaning, right? Did they sanitize their room and stuff like that? So all this SOP has to be delivered to our staff, and then they need to know what to do. And for example, let me point out one thing is, for example, our turnover time for the hotel room is usually, we used to have morning at 11 o'clock, guests would check out, right? And then in 3 o'clock, as long as the room is ready, in 3 o'clock, the next guest will come in. That is what we used to do. So right now, because all this sanitization, all this disinfecting equipment have to come in, and it takes time for them to disinfect. So we will need to relook at this. Is the turnover time enough, or do we need to leave actually a 1 day gap for each and every room before the next guest can come in, stuff like that. But a lot of things we still cannot really see right now until we really, bookings really coming in. And we will see how the turnaround. But of course, we are working on the time that staff need to clean up the room. That is the most important and priority for us right now, is to keep the place in tip-top condition in terms of cleanliness and hygiene.
I think for a lot of people also, it's still in a learning stage now. Everything is still quite new. Have you talked to any of your peers, any of your colleagues out there who also run Airbnb and hotels? What have they said about opening up?
For now, what they are actually looking at, if I'm talking about Airbnb, they're actually open to long-term tenant right now, because what we felt or what they felt is during this time it's not about how many sales you can make, how much sales you can make, how many guests you can take in, or how much is your occupancy. It's all about survival mode right now. So as long as the big chunk of the expenses is being covered, and they hold on to these few months, and after things get better, people start to get used to the new normal. They know what to do, social distancing, all these things. So the fear in them probably is not that much right now, and then only then we can start to relook at how to make new changes to the whole Airbnb lah. Yeah, because right now can't really do much, because travel ban is still on, and then domestic interstate travel is still not really there yet. So there's not much people coming in to book right now. Yeah, to be honest. So there's nothing much they can do. Like I said, what they can do is to prepare and to really show or to prove to your potential client or guests, when they come in, they will feel safe. So all this, they're starting to look into, whether or not to hire a specialist to come and disinfect their place, or probably starting their own and stuff like that. But I can see quite a lot of hosts is greatly affected because of this COVID-19. Some of them are just not gonna continue to do what they do anymore. So and still very uncertain right now.
Yeah, and Sabah is also very reliant on tourism, and to be honest, it's the bulk is from China, and how the situation is with China at the moment. How long do you foresee this this stagnation, this drop continuing into the future, and where do you see it slowly picking up?
Well, this is a tough question now, because we are not just looking at ourselves, right? As Malaysia, even though if Malaysia is in 0 case, and then we have lifted out the MCO ban and stuff like that, damage has already been done. Everyone will have, in their mind, they will know, okay, the virus is there. So what they're gonna do is to really think and rethink whether or not to travel. But of course, there are also the other end of people. Oh no, I've been locked down for quite some time, and then I want to travel. I mean, we have also been receiving new bookings lately, but it's probably in August and months like that. So immediate bookings, it's not yet. So I'm sure the bookings will slowly pick up. But if you ask me, what's the duration like? It all depends on the situation in our country first, and then in Sabah itself, if our tourism minister is also need to look at the health minister whether or not it's fit to open. So even the tourism minister cannot give us a time whether or not or when they can open up. They can't answer us. So what we can do right now is to really to prepare on the back end, and to, of course, for the first, I would say 6 months, we will look into domestic market as a focus, that's for sure. So in terms of tourists coming in from other countries, I think at least 6 months from now.
Okay. How is your, what is your marketing strategy now coming out of this MCO? What are your focus on in terms of marketing, and then who are your audience, if it's changed at all?
So actually before MCO, our guests not solely coming from Korea or China. Actually, to be surprised, a very big chunk of our guests is from the domestic market. So for this one, we are not so worried about. But of course, there are always chances that they might change their behavior in bookings. That's not what I said is we will heavily rely on this hygiene part and also on this smart system part. Because maybe one thing I can share is hotel is highly reliant on services, right? So for example, room service and some of the hotels, they have breakfast buffets but for now, I think it's going to change. What you're going to expect is before even you enter the hotel, what you're going to see is people scanning your temperature, right? And then how is the check-in being done? So our market strategies will be looking at these, like I mentioned earlier, will be the ease of them checking in without context and also feel welcoming feel very welcome at the same time. So a lot of, I would say, luxury things like you get spa or to be used in the services that you have. All this will have to be put aside, but check-in, check-out, personalized interaction will have to be there. For us, will be substituted by the smart devices. For example, you can have a hotel butler like Alexa or this kind of Xiaomi voice helper in your room. So when you need something, for example, I need a towel or I need anything, I can just tell Alexa what to do, and then our system will pick it up, and our host or our staff will provide their needs through there. So they don't have to really meet the staff or stuff like that. So it's as if there's a helper in your room. They'll be helping you at all time.
Yeah.
So things like this will be a new normal for us. Because why we came to this is because it started with Hilton and Marriott actually globally. They have already started looking at this smart system probably 2 to 3 years ago. But it wasn't because they want to prepare for this kind of virus or kind of thing. It's just to make things easier and more convenient for the guests, so that the host or the staff can focus on taking care of people rather than doing stuff that can be done by the robots or like for example checking in, stuff like that, checking out. Yeah.
Okay. Is this system developed by your team, or is it something that you've outsourced from somewhere else?
Okay, this is actually created in Malaysia. So we are the East Malaysia's partner for this system. So for this hotel system and this smart check-in kiosk and smart devices and whatnot, we are actually the supplier and also the technical team for it as well. So we are looking at more and more hotels will be looking into this because first of all, you cannot have too many staff at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at cutting a lot of expenses, and manpower is probably one of them. And to really, because the source of income probably from restaurant and stuff like that will be affected very much. So what are the things that they can do is to really cut down a lot of manpower and to replace by this now. Because smart system is not just cutting off manpower, but it's actually also energy saving in a sense. Like when lobby is not being used, the smart sensor will actually tells the system to turn off lights and aircon and stuff like that. So when they detect people coming in, only then the lights is being turned on. So these are all very environmental friendly in a way now.
Yeah, it wasn't developed with a pandemic in mind, so to say, kan?
Yeah. But like for example, our kiosk, we are looking into upgrading it to have this temperature scanning. So when they check in at the same time, temperature scanning is there, and then they will have to fill in, because the new SOP right now is you have to fill in your particulars, where you're from, what's your name, and contact number and your temperature when you check in. Right? All this have to be captured in the form. So all this can be done by the smart kiosk itself already. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned like some of the services that a typical hotel might have, like your buffets, your spa, most of the personal touch is eliminated during this time. So what are the other services that you see that hotels can provide to add more value at the same time bring in more revenue?
I think for us, because we are light in assets, what I'm trying to say is because our hotel, we don't have restaurant and we don't have spa that's directly under us. But I think for hotels that have these kind of services, I've actually seen even they've mentioned places like gym, you cannot use a gym and stuff like that. But in Thailand, in Bangkok itself, one of the hotels, what they do is personal trainer kind of thing. So you couldn't use the gym, but they arrange probably 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 to a trainer that trains the guest, whoever that needs to have this kind of fitness things. So as much as they want to, because one of the core of their hotels is, they do provide this, so they don't want to lose it. So they find ways around it. And then, for example, like buffet style breakfast, this have to be eliminated, but probably it will be replaced with those kind of grab and go breakfast, or stuff like that. So I mean, breakfast it will still be there. It's just that how are you going to serve it, or is it served in room, or it's just a grab and go thing. So all this will have to be relooked at.
Okay. How do you see the market in general recovering from this pandemic? Slowly people are coming to work and trying to get used to the new normal, like you said. But what is the new normal now for you?
Well, the new normal is definitely, you can see, even when I first, came out to the Kedai Kopi, you can already see there's only one people in one table and stuff like that. So I think social distancing will be here for quite some time. And so that also changes the way a lot of offices being their layout being arranged. Probably last time it used to be open office, and now I have to relook into go back to those enclosed kind of cubicle and stuff like that. So I think social distancing for quite some time will be there. And if you're talking about market, it's really a lot of industries will be hit, and a lot of things. I mean, you've been hearing online, offline. I think everything got to go online and stuff like that. So I think the way retail works right now will also change. I mean, the behavior of the consumer has already been changed throughout MCO. You are starting to get used to ordering Grab food, even though you haven't tried before this and stuff like that. So I think it's in a way, it's a way to force the market to upgrade up their game. So looking at the bright side of it, yes, things will probably get more convenient because it has to be that way. Even meetings, not necessarily you have to meet physically, you can just do it whenever you want. So like this. I think these are actually like now, like what we're doing right now. We used to have interviews, like we had to set a place, set up cameras, but now we can just do it even live. It has to, So I see there's a lot of good things happening as well, but in terms of the market picking up, people starting to spend money, I think this will take time. But looking at all the benefits that we have right now, I think we should embrace it.
Look on the bright side a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
How personally did you find how did you find the MCO period for you? Was it a good thing to spend more time with your family now, and you just had a kid. Was it like a blessing in disguise in some way?
Yeah. You're spot on, because I think with our schedule, our busy schedule last time, it's very difficult for us to literally take care of our kid 24/7. But during this 2 months time, it's really a great blessing for us to really looking at my child from don't know how to crawl, and then starting now to be rolling around and stuff like that. So it's really happy to be able to be there in this process, and to really spend time together as husband and wife as well. Yeah, it's always challenging because most of the time you don't spend 24 hours together, right? But this is way more than 24 hours without even being separated. So it takes time it gives us a challenge to build the relationship. So yeah, I'm glad it turned out well. So during this MCO, we started to pick up cooking, stuff like that. And of course, like I said, we have more time to really relook at what we are doing earlier on and how we can improve it. We have plenty of time to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll catch up again very soon. Once we figure out how to meet again in person. I think that is all. Thank you so much, Kenny, for meeting us. And I look forward to meeting you in person.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Send my regards to Carol.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.